Hello and welcome back to Tinker Talks Guns. This is just a brief update on developments with the Quiet Rifle. So I mentioned that I was trying out the 120 grain bullets. At least I think I did. And I have test fired one and got good engagement of the rifling for 2/3 or so of the length of the bullet. And that was a nice, hopeful sign. I also fired it through 4 layers of denim and 18 inches of clear ballistics gel, and it handily penetrated all 18 inches of gel. In fact, it audibly struck the several inches of seasoned maple on the other side, but not hard enough to make a mark or deform the bullet. So it's got adequate penetration. It's pretty good sectional density on this bullet, so it's getting the good penetration despite the low velocity. Certainly that is going to be adequate for the sort of small game that I envision taking with this rifle. Now, I have come up with a new load. I've done load development on several, and I did some 2 grain of bullseye loads in addition to the power pistol loads, and those worked out pretty well. But I wanted to see if I could come up with a more economical load. And so what I've done, let me actually get one of those. So these are the loads with 2 grains of bullseye, which makes 739 feet per second and 140 some foot-pounds. And as you can see, it's seated quite shallow. So I went down to 1.6 grains of bullseye, and that was a little inconsistent with the bullet seated at this depth. So I fully seated the bullets to the crimp line, and that seems to have straightened things right out, because these averaged 609 feet per second for 99 foot-pounds of energy, with an extreme spread of 10 feet per second and a standard deviation of, I can't recall, 4.2 or 4.6 feet per second. That's pretty damn good. And this is the load that penetrated 18 inches of gel. So yesterday, the weather was not conducive to going to the rifle range, but I did go to the indoor range and fire them at 20 yards. And I only had a few rounds. So 2 of the bullets hit one hole at 20 yards. And the other one was 3/4 of an inch off to the side, which could very easily have been me. I didn't have a proper rest for the rifle or anything. So I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic, that this may be the load that does the job. So next week or so, I'll take this out to the proper rifle range and shoot it at 50 yards. And if I can get an inch or less at 50 yards, I will be more than happy and stop thinking about replacing the barrel. Now, if I do replace the barrel, I've discovered that it is much, much easier to get a 308 barrel, and cheaper, than it is to get a .312 inch barrel. And you can actually fire .312, .314 inch lead bullets at low pressures through a 308 bore. Also, I can resize these bullets to 308 and they will still load just fine in the .32 Smith & Wesson cartridge. It's only 0.004 of an inch difference. So if I do have to replace the barrel, going to a 308 opens up a lot of options and makes the whole thing less expensive. So that's the update. I'd like to thank my supporters on Patreon. It's very much a shoestring operation, and your contributions help more than you know. I'd also like to thank channel benefactors, those individuals and businesses who have contributed to the channel in innumerable ways. Special shout out to Chris at Pinto's Guns in Renton, Washington. I'd also like to thank Rain City Shooting Center for providing material support to the channel. So, that's it for this time. Just a short one, little update. I hope this finds you well. Stay safe, take care, and we'll talk to you again real soon.